everyone, welcome to Biophilia, your all-time study mate. Today we are going to start a new chapter about organism and population. If you like our videos and want us to help out to reach out many more, then don't forget to like, share and subscribe to our amazing channel Biophilia. So today we are starting with a new chapter from the NCERT book that is about ecology. अब ecology क्या होता है उसको समझना is very important at the first point. So let's understand what is ecology. Ecology is going to be a study of organisms. जैसे हमारा आज का टॉपिक है that is organisms and populations. So it is very important to understand how are the organisms और organisms में हो सकते हैं these are going to be plants or animals and these are going to be the living species or you can say these are going to be the biotic species और ये biotic या these organisms are going to interact with the environment which is going to be surrounding them. So the study जैसे एक दूसरे के साथ घुल मिल जाते हैं organisms and the surrounding environments उसी को पढ़ने को बोलते हैं ecology. So ये जैसे पिक्चर में आप देख सकते हो that it is trying to show you that all the animals say for example polar bear बोलो या trees बोलो या humans all these are going to be intermingled around the surroundings और surroundings कहाँ पे होंगे these are going to be on the earth. So एक दूसरे से बंधे हुए हैं एक दूसरे से रिलेटेड है एंड ऑल दैट स्टडी इज गोइंग टू बी अंडर द यूनिट ऑफ ecology. So in ecology all are the ecosystems or ecosystems में there are going to be various type of organisms जो साथ में आएंगे. So organisms you can call them as individuals. So बहुत सारे individuals जब साथ में आएंगे एक group बनाएंगे वो group क्या कहलाएगा it will be called as a community and community can have the non-living aspects of the environment as well. So हो सकता है there are going to be air, water, your soil, all that can also be contributing in the study of ecosystems and ecosystems further can be studied in ecology. So that was a little introduction और अभी ecology के अंदर क्या क्या होता है everything will be considered in detail to understand in this video. So let's get ahead understanding in much more depth about ecology. अब लेवल्स ऑफ ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस होते हैं वेर इन वी हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड कि फाइनली जब आप इकोलॉजी के बारे में पढ़ते हो तो इकोलॉजी इज़ अ वेरी वास्ट सब्जेक्ट. तो वास्ट सब्जेक्ट को आप एक छोटे छोटे हिस्सों में पढ़ते हो एंड ऑल दैट लेवल्स ऑफ ऑर्गेनाइजेशन विच इज़ गोइंग टू बी कंसिडर्ड टू अंडरस्टैंड अबाउट इकोलॉजी हैव बीन प्रेजेंटेड हियर. सो यहाँ पे इकोलॉजिकल ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस जो होंगे दीज आर गोइंग टू बी स्टार्टिंग फ्रॉम अ सिंगल इंडिविजुअल. जब एक होगा एक बूंद बूंद जोड़ जोड़ के क्या बनेगा देयर इज गोइंग टू बी अ लॉट मेनी मोर विच आर गोइंग टू बी फॉर्म. सो जब एक से शुरुआत होगी आप बहुत बड़े क्वांटिटी में पढ़ सकते हो. So for example as you had already studied about cell, so one cell when is going to be studied you can study the entire function about a human body. So अगर आपको सेल के बारे में नहीं पता होगा it would be difficult to understand about a human or the animal body. Similarly if you don't know the basic structure or basic unit of ecological studies then it is difficult to understand the entire big biosphere. So starting from a single individual which is an organism फिर आप पढ़ोगे उसके population पे यानी बहुत सारे individuals जब group बनाएंगे it is a population. When different kinds of species are going to come together that is a community and when community is going to interact with the surrounding non-living surroundings they would be consisting of a ecosystem. Ecosystem में फिर you can have some landscapes you can have a bigger area that is a biome और finally जो biosphere होगा it is the biggest area that you can study in ecology और biosphere का biggest example is nothing but the entire earth. So entire earth is going to be considered as a biosphere. So now you can imagine कि earth जैसी इतनी बड़ी चीज़ को अगर आप एक साथ पढ़ने को बैठोगे it is not going to be easy for you to understand. So similarly you have to understand first a single thing that is an organism और organism से start करके धीरे धीरे you will be going to a very large scale that is earth, a biosphere. So let's understand these definitions कि ये जो levels होते हैं finally what do they comprise of. So first we study about the organisms. So what are organisms? These are nothing but going to be the basic unit of study of ecology. जैसे अगर आप human body के बारे में पढ़ने वाले हो, then human body को पढ़ने से पहले what do you understand? That cell is going to be the basic unit of structure and the functional unit. So basic structural and functional unit of any body is going to be considered as a cell. वैसे ही अगर आप ecology पढ़ रहे हो, then the organism is going to be considered as a basic unit. So just trying to relate it to the topic that you have already studied so that you can understand the relations between these particular terms. So organism को आप क्यों पढ़ोगे? Why? What would be the reason? The reason is going to be जब आप organism एक individual की अगर आप physiology जानते हो, if you can understand the behavior, their distribution कि वो कहाँ कहाँ फैले हुए हैं, and even their adaptations to different environmental conditions, then you can understand that what sort of relationship do they share with the surrounding environments, how do they work along with different organisms together, maybe they are of the same type या different types के साथ वो कैसे behave करते हैं. All that should be understood if you know that how a basic unit, that is an organism, understands. So second, जब organisms बहुत सारे group में आते हैं, so when there is a grouping of individuals, okay, individuals जो थे वो organism थे. So when there is a grouping of same species, very important is these are of the same species, then living on a given area, they would be called as a population. So population is nothing but similar type of species coming together to form a population. थर्ड टाइप आता है दैट इज़ बायोलॉजिकल कम्युनिटी, जहाँ पे बहुत सारे डिफरेंट टाइप्स ऑफ पॉपुलेशन हैविंग डिफरेंट स्पीशीज़. जब डिफरेंट स्पीशीज़ आते हैं, दीज डिफरेंट स्पीशीज़ आर गोइंग टू शो सम रिलेशनशिप्स, दे आर गोइंग टू शो सम इंटरैक्शन, but they will also show some independence. So interaction along with independence with different species जब दिखेंगे, you would call it as a biological community. So if you want to understand these three terms in much more detail, you can see the photograph over here. So एक organism जब आप बोलोगे तो you consider one single deer or one single human being. So that is one organism. Population को क्या बोलोगे? Population means you can consider a family of deers, or you can consider your own family of your human beings, or you can consider एक society के अंदर बहुत सारे लोग जो रह रहे हैं, these are all human beings. So that is a population. If you consider the topic of community, community यानी जहाँ पे different species है, like in the jungle there are going to be deers, there are zebras, there are horses, there are donkeys, many things are going to survive together in a single area. So जैसे यहाँ पे vultures है, यहाँ पे dogs है, there can be wolves, there can be tigers, elephants, many different types of animals are going to live in that area. वो एक दूसरे से interact करेंगे, जैसे deer और lion के बीच में there is going to be a prey and predator relationship. All that things, that interactions are going to be in the biological community जहाँ पे different species होते हैं. And once all these is understood, you move to a new topic which will be discussed. So the next term that comes is ecosystem. So जब बहुत सारे different types of communities are going to get integrated with the physical environment, जब environment के साथ अलग अलग चीज़ें perform होंगी. For example, in the case of there is going to be exchange of energy, there is going to be recycling of nutrients यानी decomposition होना शुरू होगा, या there is going to be food cycle that is going to occur. So जैसे grass है, so grass has been eaten by the deer, and the deer has been eaten by the lion, और lion का decomposition हो गया and the nutrients has been given back to the soil. So all this system is going to be using what, यहाँ पे एक community use हुई, that is going to be the grass community, deer community आई, lion आई, these are all different communities coming together and relating to the physical environment. Physical environment कैसे include हुआ? Because grass is going to grow on the soil. Soil के अंदर जब पानी जाएगा, then and then only it is going to function. There is going to be light, there is air and all not. there is also soil which is going to be involved. All these are going to be the physical environment जहाँ पे these different types of species are going to be surviving. So this type of system will be called as a ecosystem. The next term that you need to understand is a landscape. Landscape क्या होता है? आपने बहुत सारे landscape photographs देखी होंगी या paintings देखी होगी. So you have heard this word landscape, but what does it actually mean? It is going to be a unit of land जहाँ पे actually the nature boundary is going to have some mosaic patches. यानी अगर आपने एरोप्लेन में सफ़र किया है, then once you go to a certain height, then you see that these are going to have various colored patches of green land. So हो सकता है एक बहुत ज़्यादा डार्क ग्रीन पैच का एक लैंड है, एक हो सकता है बीच में ही लाइट ग्रीन पैच आ गया, फिर बीच में एक येलो पैच आ गया, and then you see there are some orange patches, again there are some green patches coming together. So there are going to be various colored patches, mosaic patches that are going to be seen in that surrounding. So वो जो एक ऐसा different type of patches होता है, and there is going to be a natural boundary, यानी कोई ज़्यादा separation नहीं होगा, but you can see that there are some differences. So that is nothing but a landscape. Then the next term you see is a biome. Biome is going to be a very large regional unit which is going to have a major type of vegetation. और जब vegetation change होगा यानी the flora is going to change. Similarly जब plants change होंगे, even the plants के ऊपर जीने वाले animals, that is fauna, is also going to change. So when the major type of vegetation changes along with the flora, so that time the biome is going to change along with the climatic zones. So biome जब change होता है, there is going to be change in the plants, there is going to be change in animals, and even in the case of temperature. So you can now understand about the ecosystem, landscape, biome. उसके बाद एक टॉपिक आता है, that is biosphere. So biosphere is going to be the largest topic that you study in the case of ecosystem. So in this you can see that wherever there is going to be support of life जीने के लिए you need biosphere, and biosphere is going to comprise of everything that is earth's terrestrial यानी land का area as well as the water area. So that can be a water area or a land area, everything यानी entire earth is going to be considered nothing but a biosphere. So now you can understand and you can write down the definitions that would help you to understand different types of terms that are used in ecology. So जैसे आप biome की बात कर रहे थे, so you can understand different types of biomes that are presented over here in this triangular pyramid, जहाँ पे you can have tropical regions, you can have temperate regions. So you can see how there are going to be changes in the plantation. ट्रॉपिकल रीजन्स के ट्रीज का डायग्राम अलग है, टेम्परेट फॉरेस्ट में अलग है. देयर इज सब आर्टिक एरिया, द ट्रीज आर चेंजिंग, and in the arctic regions even the vegetation is changing. Then there is a desert, there is no or little vegetation. Everything is going to change when the biome changes. So I hope you understood about these terminologies that are used in ecology. The next we study that how the organism is actually going to relate itself to the nearby environment. So ecology में there is a organic level, and organism is going to be the basic and the essential structure or essential point जहाँ पे आप physiological ecology को पढ़ते हो. And once you study this, what is it going to help you to understand that how organisms are going to get adapted, because as the changes are going to occur in the environment, there are going to be some changes that occurs in the organism as well. और organism में changes क्यों होंगे? Because the organism needs to survive, and for the survival it also needs to reproduce. So survival or reproduction के लिए the organism is actually going to change according to the changing environment. So what is going to cause the changes that are going to occur in the environment? तो changes जो होते हैं वो होते हैं, first of all, the reason number one, that is rotation of the earth. रोटेशन ऑफ द अर्थ होने की वजह से देर इज गोइंग टू बी डे एंड नाइट, और डे एंड नाइट के टाइम पे इन 24 आवर्स देर आर गोइंग टू बी टेम्परेचर चेंजेस. So that is the reason that the organisms need to adapt themselves, that how you have to behave to the temperature changes, to the light availability changes according to the 24-hour clock. The second reason that causes changes is going to be tilt in the axis. जो अर्थ है वो एक 90 डिग्री एक्सिस के ऊपर नहीं है. इट इज़ रॉन्ग. इट इज़ नॉट रोटेटिंग एट अ 90 डिग्री एक्सिस. इट इज़ लिटिल बिट टिल्टेड, एंड बिकॉज द अर्थ एक्सिस इज अ लिटिल बिट टिल्टेड, वो टिल्ट की वजह से देर आर गोइंग टू बी वेरिएशन इन द temperature as well as in the intensity of it. So intensity or duration of the temperature जब change हो जाता है, these are going to form different seasons. So in India you are fortunate enough to see different kinds of seasons. So बचपन में आपने ज़रूर पढ़ा होगा that these are the seasons like summer, monsoon, spring and autumn. So these different types of seasons are because classified as these are having different types of changes to which the organisms are going to adapt. जैसे trees जो होते हैं they show their adaptation very easily. Winters के time पे the leaves are going to fall off and everything is covered in snow. If the spring condition is seen, spring के time पे everything is very happy, everything is blooming and you feel good in spring because even the temperature is favoring your happiness. Summers के time पे it's very hot, you rarely move out of your house, and even in autumns as it comes after summer the leaves are going to shed off because of extreme heat. So these are the different seasons that occurs because of the two reasons, that is rotation of the earth as well as the tilt of the axis to which it revolves around the sun. Now because of there are different types of temperatures that arouse on the annual basis, yani every 365 years there is going to be a lot of variations even in the case of precipitation. So not only in the temperature but कितना amount of precipitation हो रहा है. Now this precipitation can occur in the forms of, it can be either rain or it can be in the form of solid water, that is snow. Both are going to come under the concept of precipitation. So precipitation का कितना amount है, कितने देर तक हो रहा है या किस form में हो रहा है, whether it is liquid water in the case of rain or in the solid form of snow. So that is also going to change the different types of biomes. So exactly what are going to tell you, or what are going to be the parameters which are going to help you to understand this biome is going to be separate than the other. So first is the one that is rainfall, that is the precipitation. Then the temperature range, kitna temperature hai, the highest and the lowest. What sort of soil does it have, whether it has dry soil, it has clay soil, or what sort of soil, fertile hai, infertile hai. What are the barriers, whether it has river or it has a mountain region. What is its latitude, what is its altitude, at what height it is from the sea level. So all that is going to matter to understand the nature as well as extent of the biome. So जब हमने पढ़ लिया है what is going to change the biomes, so finally how many different types of biomes can you include. So these are going to be the 6 biomes that are going to be found onto this planet earth in majority. So majorly you can find that is tundra, the second one is taiga, third is temperate forest, the grasslands that can be either temperate or tropical savannas, there can be deserts and even tropical rainforests. So when you consider India as a country, India के पास you can find majorly all types of biomes in the entire country. So if you want to understand about tundra, so tundra में जो higher upper peaks है, upper peaks of Himalayas, all those upper peaks of mountains are going to have the frozen water in the form of glaciers. So glaciers जो होंगे वहाँ पे you are not going to find a much of vegetation or much of animals living on that region. So that is the tundra region. अब tundra region से जब आप थोड़ा और नीचे आते हो, that is when your altitude decreases, there is going to be the taiga region. So taiga region can be considered as a Srinagar region. So Srinagar में there is going to be snowfall, there is going to be low temperatures, but not as in the case of the upper peaks of mountains or upper peaks of glaciers. So वो एक अलग biome हो जाएगा. Then once you come down more, when you come to temperate forest region yani you can have the states like Punjab or you can have the states of Haryana. So the northern states you can find that these are going to be the temperate forests. Then once you come down lower to the central India, you can find grasslands in the case of Madhya Pradesh. So Madhya Pradesh में grasslands मिल सकते हैं. Deserts can be seen in the case of Rajasthan. So Rajasthan जो है, it is going to be a hot desert, hot and dry desert if you consider. And once you go to Leh Ladakh, you can come to Ladakh or Leh, that is going to be a cold desert. वहाँ पे temperature कम होगा but there is still no vegetation, everything is dried out. So the desert can be of two types, whether it is hot desert or a cold desert. Then you can have tropical rainforest as well in India that you can find in the northeastern states like Assam, Meghalaya, Mizoram. You can have a lot of rainfall. Kuch rainforest you can also find in southern India. So southern India may also you can see some tropical rainforests like Kerala you can find. So all these regions are going to be nothing but different types of biomes that you can see in our own country, that is India. So ये तो एक just introduction था about the different types of major biomes. So now let us consider them to understand in much more detail so that you would know the differences that occurs in them according to the like temperature क्या है, rainfall क्या है. On all that basis we will understand them in detail. So the first one we see that is going to be the Tundra region, यानी जो एकदम top of the hills होते हैं, that is where the entire place is going to be completely at the frost level. That means it is a permafrost. Permafrost है यानी क्या है, it is going to be a permanent frost area, यानी वहाँ पे बर्फ ना के बराबर जब पिघलती है, in that conditions that area or that biome is considered as a tundra biome. It is going to be the coldest of all the biomes because you can consider according to the photographs here as well, everything is white covered in snow at very thick levels. ऐसे नहीं कि थोड़ी देर आधी घंटा बारिश हुई, वैसे नहीं है. The snow has been there for thousands of years in that frozen condition. So that is the tundra region. अब मेजर सोर्स यहाँ पे जैसे बायोम है, मेजर सोर्स जो फ्रेश वाटर का आता है थ्रू द डिफरेंट टाइप्स ऑफ, जैसे आप सोचते हो हिमालय जब गर्मियों के टाइम पे पानी पिघलता है फ्रॉम दोज ग्लेशियर्स, फ्रॉम दोज माउंटेन्स, the water is going to come down through the different types of rivers. So गंगा में जो पानी आता है, all that is going to come from the permafrost region that are placed in the Himalayas. So all that is nothing but the major source of fresh water, and all that fresh water is going to come when the glaciers melt down. So the Tundra region is going to be a region wherein there is frost molded landscapes. हर जगह पे white दिखेगा, everywhere you can see is a snow. And here is a very extremely low temperatures, it can be in -degrees, and that is going to bring very less precipitation क्योंकि वहाँ पे कोई evaporation नहीं होगा. And since there is no sun rays that comes and falls onto these regions, there is very less evaporation that brings to less precipitation. और less precipitation है, everything is frozen, there is less nutrients in the soil, soil fertile नहीं होगी, there is less availability of light जिसकी वजह से short growing seasons होंगे. And because of all such conditions, अगर आप उनका animal life या plant life देखोगे, then if you consider the plant life on those areas of permafrost, you will understand that the plants over here are going to be low shrubs. यहाँ पे बहुत ज़्यादा thorny areas के shrubs होंगे. These are going to have reindeer mosses. So reindeer moss, you must have heard it in the plant kingdom as well. So reindeer moss is going to be present onto the snow areas. वहाँ पे stones होंगे, rocks होंगे, वहाँ पे you can find the reindeer moss. You can also find the liverworts over here. So these all are going to make up the actual plant life that is going to be found in the Tundra region. अगर आप animal life की बात करोगे, and then animal life, because these needs to survive in this extreme low temperature, यहाँ पे जो animals होंगे these are going to be large animals. यहाँ पे small animals नहीं दिखेंगे. Here you are going to have the animals which are Arctic foxes. Then you are going to have wolves. Again, these are large animals. You can find polar bears, and reason for the large species or large sizes is going to be कि जब ठंड होती है, small animals cannot regulate their temperature at a very efficient way. So जितनी body volume ज़्यादा होगा, there is going to be a better option to survive in this extreme cold temperatures. So for that reason, Arctic areas में you are going to find the animals which are going to be very huge in sizes. So that was about our first biome, that is Tundra biome. The second biome we understand is taiga forest. Taiga forest जो होता है, generally in larger areas you can find that taiga forests are going to be stretched around the northern America and the Eurasia. So Eurasia यानी upper parts of Asia and Europe are going to be under the taiga forest biome. So India में भी ये ऐसी conditions मिलती है, but that is stretched out for a very small area of land. जबकि अगर आप यहाँ पे नॉर्दर्न अमेरिका या यूरेशिया की बात करोगे, दिस इज स्ट्रेच एट ह्यूज किलोमीटर्स, एंड दैट इज द रीजन यू कैन कॉल इट एज अ ट्रू बायोम. सो यहाँ पे जो टेरेस्ट्रियल बायोम होगा ऑन द अर्थ, यानी जहाँ पे लैंड कंडीशंस आप देख रहे हो, देन इट इज गोइंग टू बी द लार्जेस्ट टेरेस्ट्रियल बायोम. सो अगेन इट इज़ अ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट क्वेश्चन कि जो सबसे ज़्यादा कोल्डेस्ट biome होगा, so coldest biome is going to be nothing but your Tundra region, but the largest terrestrial biome is going to be the taiga forest. Then the taiga forest में अगर आप जाओगे, if you get a chance to visit, then you are going to see that the winters are going to be long and cold, whereas the summers might be a little hot as compared to the winters, because यहाँ पे थोड़ी थोड़ी सन रेज होंगी, यहाँ पे थोड़ा सन आएगा for some period of months, and then again there would be cold and long winters. These are just below the tundra region, so यहाँ पे भी you are going to see a lot of snow laid regions, but comparatively you would have a better animal and a plant life. So वहाँ पे you can have the different types of migratory or resident birds, and even large mammals are going to be found. And you have to remember यहाँ पे भी these are going to be large mammals because of the temperature variations that you have to suffer. And the plants are going to be evergreen है, and these are also going to be a kind of conifer flowers. So conifer जो cone shaped trees होंगे, these are going to be found in this taiga forest. So taiga forest जो होता है, you can also call it as the northern conifer forest. The northern coniferous forest is going to be the other name for the taiga forest, because यहाँ पे जो vegetation होगा, it is going to be having trees which are in cone shaped. जैसे conifers का अगर आपको example पता है, then it may be as pine. Pine is going to be one of the coniferous trees. Then you can have the example of spruce, you can have example of fir, then there is chinar, then deodar. All these are going to be hardwood trees which are going to be used for building the different types of houses on those regions, because taiga forest region जो होता है, it is very famous for the hill station regions. यहाँ पे थोड़ी ठंड होती है that the humans can enjoy. यहाँ पे बहुत सारे tourists आते हैं, and these tourists need some lodge to live in. So there are going to be different types of lodges, there are going to be different types of resorts and hotels जो बनाने के लिए you need wood, because wood is going to help you to temperature regulate the particular hotels. So for that reason बहुत सारा wood लकड़ी cut किया जाता है, and that लकड़ी is going to come from the trees which are coming from the taiga forest or the coniferous forest, which include these types of trees. So यहाँ पे ट्री कटिंग आजकल बहुत ज़्यादा हो रहा है, and that is actually destroying the particular biome, that is taiga forest. So once you destroy the vegetation, even the different types of animals are going to suffer because of the loss of their habitat. So taiga forest region जो है, it is at very high risk because of increasing number of tourists. The third region of biome that is to be considered is temperate deciduous forest. Temperate deciduous forests may there are going to be winters that are long. So temperate deciduous को you can consider them to be your north states. नॉर्थ इंडियन स्टेट्स जो होंगे लाइक यू कैन कंसिडर दिल्ली, पंजाब, हरियाणा, वहाँ पे यू कैन हैव और यू कैन इमेजिन दीज स्टेट्स and they can remember these particular points. So you might have seen about the deciduous forests that are going to have winters that are cold. जैसे दिल्ली का environment है, ठंडियों में बहुत ज़्यादा ठंड होगी, but once you come to summers these are going to be very hot enough. Temperatures might be rising, and all this is going to be having the temperature variations. और यहाँ पे जो major produce होगा from the forest, these are going to shed their leaves seasonally. So lose their leaves, or you can consider that these are going to shed their leaves, and since they shed their leaves seasonally यानी एक साथ एक ही सीजन में सारे पत्ते झड़ जाएंगे, तो पत्ते जो झड़ते हैं that is nothing but the deciduous forest. So because of the temperatures also you call it as a temperate deciduous forest. Then ये forest region में या ये biome में you can find different kinds of mammals and birds which are going to be using the vertical space of the forest. Vertical space because यहाँ पे different types of trees मिलेंगे which will be growing at a various height, और ये height को use किया जाएगा because one species, for example this is a tree which is very long enough. सो यहाँ पे एक लोअर रीजन में कुछ एनिमल्स होंगे, कुछ प्लांट्स होंगे एट अ डिफरेंट लेयर, देन देयर विल बी डिफरेंट एनिमल्स. टॉप लेयर में वहाँ पर अलग बर्ड्स होंगे, अलग जानवर रहेंगे. सो दीज आर यूजिंग द वर्टिकल स्पेस ऑफ द ट्रीज एज वेल विच इज़ फाउंड इन द टेम्परेट डेसिडुअस फॉरेस्ट. Then we see about the temperate grasslands जहाँ पे again the winters are going to be cold enough. Example you can consider for Madhya Pradesh for Indian conditions, और अगर आप foreign conditions यानी international boundaries की बात करोगे then you can find different types of grasslands. So in class 8, 9, 10 or somewhere you might have heard about different types of grasslands that are present in the world. So all these grasslands are going to be having winters that are cold and dry, whereas summers are going to be hot and humid. So around this type of temperature variations, जो dominant vegetation होगा, it is nothing but grasses, and because these are grasses you call them as grasslands, right? So grasslands में क्या होगा? Obviously these are going to be covered with various types of grasses, and these grasses are going to be majoritarily dry condition. Because of the dry condition, it is very easy to catch fire and be in drought conditions. So if you might have heard about bush fires, या bush fires नहीं सुने होंगे, then you might have heard about forest fires. So forest fire में जो initiate होता है, वो initiate कहाँ होता है? Initiate जो होगा, it is going to occur because of the burning of grasses. So once the grasses catch up fire, it is going to spread over at a very faster rate, and then the forest fires are going to be set up. जो bush fires होते हैं यानी जहाँ पे बहुत large extent में grasslands है, once they start to burn, then these are going to burn at a very higher rate और entire land का grass खत्म हो जाएगा, जल जाएगा, and that is nothing but bushfires. So bushfires Australia में you might have heard, you might have even heard it in some parts of Amazon forest. So Amazon forest के आसपास का जो एरिया था वहाँ पे भी you might have heard about that grasslands पूरे के पूरे जल गए. All that had been because of these temperate grasslands which have a ability to live in the drought areas, जिसकी वजह से fire is very easily caught. So ऐसे regions में, that is temperate grasslands, these are going to have their native mammals which are going to be large grazers and borrowers. So grazers है because grazers यानी herbivores होंगे, and these herbivores are nothing but going to be coming for grazing. So these are going to be a very large hunting grounds, because hunting grounds होंगे, because for the hunting purposes what do the carnivores need? Carnivores are going to need the herbivores, और herbivores कहाँ मिलेंगे? At the grasslands, because there is going to be a system, that is when the grass is available in the grasslands, there are going to be deers, and these are going to have cows and hares like rabbits होंगे बहुत सारे. So these come under the borrowers. So deers, cows, rabbits and different types of animals which come under the herbivores type are going to be seen in these grasslands. So जब आपको पता है कि सारा आपका शिकार ये ऐसे grasslands में होगा, then all the carnivore animals, that are the big cats, so there can be leopards, lions, tigers, all these jackals and wolves are going to come onto these temperate grassland region, और ये सारे herbivores को खा जाएंगे. And once they eat and hunt these animals, these areas are going to be called as hunting grounds. So even humans are very much interested in these areas, because ये grasslands जो होते हैं, these grasslands are plain lands. So relatively ये plain lands होते हैं, these are going to be very much fertile enough, and since these are very fertile, because all the rivers are going to come and spread out at this region, nutrients deposit होंगे. So you can consider the areas of MP, Madhya Pradesh के areas जो होंगे, these are very fertile, and people will love to have farmlands for fertile land, and plain जगह है, so these are also suitable for housing purposes. So for that reason these temperate grasslands are also at a very high risk of extinction, because temperate grasslands बहुत जल्दी जल्दी disappear हो रहे हैं, and you need to protect these areas so that your ecological balance can be maintained. Then the next particular biome you study is going to be savannah grasslands. So इसके पहले जो grasslands पढ़े, these were the temperate grasslands, but these are going to be the tropical savanna grasslands. So these are going to include the grasslands जो होते हैं covering with the shrubs and the grasses, and these all are going to be present all over the land. और जो animals होंगे, these animals are going to be the wild beasts. These are going to be having zebras, lions and hyenas. Again, since it is a grassland, you are going to be calling it as a hunting ground. But यहाँ पे comparatively you can find the taller trees as well. So if you compare it to the temperate grassland में everything was very plain and everything was having grasses. Rarely you could find some tall trees. So that was the condition of the temperate grasslands. But if you consider for the savanna grassland में grass के साथ साथ you can find some trees that are going to be seen, which are at a comparatively higher height. So all this is going to be the difference between the temperate and the savanna grassland. So since these grasslands are going to be much more closer to human surroundings, these are going to be overrun with the trees, and these further are going to become deserts अगर उन्हें बचाया नहीं जाए. Since यहाँ पे grasslands के साथ trees भी उगते हैं, shrubs भी है, little bit of herbs as well. So human is very much interested to destroy this particular area. और जब ये सारे trees फटाफट गायब होना शुरू हो जाएंगे, it will not take time to become a desert, because already grasslands जो होते हैं, these are going to be a bit drier areas. यहाँ पे जो temperature होगा वो rise होना शुरू हो जाएगा, and because of that reason if you do not have sufficient greenery, sufficient vegetation, it might become desert in some or other time. So you can consider the savanna grassland to be found in Ranthambore region. So Ranthambore जो national park है, या if you consider for the Gir national park, so Gir national park है या Ranthambore national park है, these are going to have a little areas of the savanna grassland. So Gir में जो है you can find lions, which is very much famous for it. Ranthambore में you can have different types of animals. So all these are going to have the savanna grassland. The next we see is a tropical rainforest. यहाँ पे the mean temperature is going to be about 23 degrees to 27 degrees. So it is very reasonable type of temperature that you can find. बट सिंस इट इज़ अ ट्रॉपिकल रेन फॉरेस्ट, जिसके नाम में ही रेन है, यहाँ पे बहुत ज़्यादा बारिश होने वाली है. देयर इज़ अ वेरी हाई रेनफॉल रीजन and annual rainfall is going to be about 2000 to 3500 mm, which is about 200 to about 350 centimeters of rainfall per year. So that is a very huge amount of rainfall that is going to occur. And since, as you can understand from the numbers, आपको पता होना चाहिए that these areas are going to have high rainfall. जब high rainfall होता है, what is going to happen? There is going to be high humidity, and once there is high humidity यानी बहुत ज़्यादा moisture content है environment में, the temperature is going to increase. So you might have considered the example of Bombay, and if you consider the region of some Marathwada region of Maharashtra, so Bombay mein you are very near to the seashore, and once you are near to the seashore there is going to be high moisture content. Near to sea hai yani there is high moisture in the air, there is a lot of humidity, and because of that there is going to be high temperature. So similar condition has been noticed over here, that is high rainfall causes high humidity in air, there is high temperature found, और जब temperature बढ़ता है there is going to be high rate of photosynthesis, because when the photosynthesis is going to increase, what is going to happen? जब photosynthesis increase होगा, there is a lot of greenery, because photosynthesis is indirectly related कि वो जगह कितनी हरी भरी है. So all that reasons contribute to a very good area, that is tropical rainforest, and this is going to be found in the case of Amazon rainforest. So not your Amazon खुशियों की दुकान, but it is the Amazon rainforest, which is going to also be called as lungs of earth. So Amazon rainforest को आप और क्या बोलते हो? You are going to call it as lungs of earth, because majority of the oxygen that you get into the earth is going to come from this Amazon rainforest because of high rate of photosynthesis. यहाँ पे बहुत ज़्यादा ऑक्सीजन प्रोड्यूस होगा, and it is very important to protect this Amazon rainforest. So recently news में you might have heard about 2 years or 1 year ago कि Amazon rainforest has been started to be destruct. यहाँ पे लोग अपनी there is a huge amount of destruction of these rainforests, and because of that many majorities of animal species अभी तक जो डिस्कवर नहीं हुई थी, जो Amazon rainforest में थी, before discovering them they are going to get extinct. So it is just like thinking about a book that you don't know about. So एक लाइब्रेरी है, लाइब्रेरी में आपको बहुत जाना पसंद है और आपने अभी तक लास्ट ट्रैक की लास्ट बुक पढ़ी ही नहीं है, बट लाइब्रेरी जल गई. So that is the case that is happening with this Amazon rainforest, that you have not even started to find about the different types of species that you can find in this area, and before that you are undergoing destruction of this area. So because of that reasons बहुत सारे species जो है, because रेन फॉरेस्ट है, रेन फॉरेस्ट में बहुत ज़्यादा photosynthesis है, because of that there is a huge variations of the plantations, और जैसे plants बहुत ज़्यादा उगते हैं वैसे ही animals की diversity भी बहुत ज़्यादा है. So for that reason it is very important that for the environmental balance even these tropical rainforests should be protected along with different types of biomes. So rainforest may, since I told you that there are going to be various type of plantations or vegetation, so entire vegetation जो होगा वो different layers में अपने आप को divide करेगा. So what is going to be the area of variations that occurs in the case of plantations? That is going to include the very lowest level, that is going to be the forest floor. फॉरेस्ट फ्लोर पे हो सकता है सारे डेड लीव्स पड़े हुए हो, फॉलन लीव्स है या छोटी छोटी घास उगी हुई है, ऑल दैट इज गोइंग टू बी द फॉरेस्ट फ्लोर एरिया, जहाँ पे एक्चुअली द रूट लेवल इज गोइंग टू बी फाउंड. उसके बाद जो लेयर आता है इट इज़ गोइंग टू बी अंडर स्टोरी लेयर, जहाँ पे जो छोटे ट्रीज होते हैं वो मिलेंगे, या फिर यू कैन फाइंड सम ब्रांचेस दैट इज गोइंग टू बी सीन ऑफ द लार्जर ट्रीज। सो ब्रांचेस हो सकते हैं या छोटे ट्रीज हो सकते हैं दैट कम अंडर द अंडर स्टोरी लेयर। फिर आती है कैनोपी लेयर। कैनोपी लेयर में यू आर गोइंग टू हैव मेजॉरिटी ऑफ द लार्ज ट्रीज जहाँ का लीफ सारा फैला हुआ होगा, that is going to be the canopy layer. And finally the last layer is going to be the emergent layer, जहाँ पे these are very tall trees. So these very tall trees are going to be seen, distinctly at this emergent layer. So these are going to be the composition of tropical rainforest, जो start होता है forest floor से, then you come to the understory layer, then the canopy layer, and the emergent, the fourth topmost layer of the tropical rainforest. So here in the world map also you can see that where these tropical rainforests are going to be seen. You can see this tropical rainforest in the Deccan Ghats of India. So all those Deccan Ghats of India you can find these tropical rainforest because sea के पास में है. sea के पास में होने की वजह से जब evaporation ज़्यादा होता है, the evaporation increases, because of that rainfall is also going to increase, and that brings you to the biome of tropical rain forest. The last type of biome to study is going to be a desert. So desert जो होता है यहाँ पे, as you know from the previous classes as well, desert में the precipitation, यानी generally आप यहाँ पे you don't expect a precipitation of snow in hot desert, but in cold desert you can expect snow to fall, but that will be at a very low rate, that is about less than 30 centimeters per year. So if you consider with the case of tropical rainforest जहाँ पे 250 to 300 centimeters per year rainfall था, जबकि desert areas में it is less than 30 centimeters. So it is very negligible in the consideration of tropical rainforests. So because of very low precipitation, यहाँ पे जो temperature होगा वो बहुत ज़्यादा हो जाएगा, and because of the high temperatures, the rising temperatures, these are going to have the plants, the vegetation which is adapted for heat. So यहाँ पे adaptation is very important, because अगर adaptation नहीं होगा it will be very difficult to survive at these high temperatures. और हाई टेम्परेचर पे अडेप्ट करने के लिए फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल यू नीड टू हैव द डेसिकेशन टॉलरेंस एज वेल. डेसिकेशन टॉलरेंस दैट मीन्स टू हैव टॉलरेंस फॉर ड्राइनेस. ड्राइनेस इज नथिंग बट डेसिकेशन. सो ड्राइनेस को टॉलरेंस होना चाहिए, बिकॉज इतने ज़्यादा हीट में देर इज गोइंग टू बी अ वेरी हाई रेट ऑफ इवापोरेशन, और इवापोरेशन ज़्यादा होने की वजह से, ट्रांसपिरेशन ज़्यादा होने की वजह से, the plants need to have the capability to live in that dryness. So even they need to have the water conservation strategies, so that they can store water whenever they get some a little bit of precipitation. उस टाइम पे वो सारा पानी स्टोर कर लेगा, and for all that reason, that is to protect them from heat, to protect them from dryness, and to store water, the main thing that they have done, that is reduced the surface area of the leaf. Surface area यानी अगर आप to come to the parts of Maharashtra, then you have the various big leaves. वो big leaves क्या करेंगे, there is going to be a lot of precipitation, there is no precipitation. So what is going to happen, the evaporation is going to be very fast because of large surface area. But अगर आपने जो leaves है वो leaves को छोटा कर दिया, you become to have the pointy, the spiny leaves, उसमें क्या हो जाएगा, the evaporation or the transpiration from the leaves is going to decrease. So ये जब decrease हो जाएगा, what is going to happen, there is indirectly conservation of water. The plant can survive in the dryness, and it also can adapt to the heat areas. And finally that was about the vegetation. But अगर आप animals की बात करोगे, then these are not going to have the capability to move around in the hot times of the day. So days are very hot, so days अगर बहुत ज़्यादा hot होंगे, तो these animals don't prefer to move out at these areas. But whereas if you consider the nights are comparatively cooler. So since the night are cooler, these animals are going to have their most activities at night. So if you consider, coolness is going to bring to activeness. So since these are going to be active at cooler nights, these are called as nocturnal animals. So वो ज़्यादातर active होंगे during the night, that makes them nocturnal. And that is again adaptability that is considered for the desert animals. So you can see here different types of reptiles and different types of crabs, spiders, everything can be found in the deserts, and these are going to be nocturnal. और यहाँ पे plants कितने different होंगे from different biomes, you can consider that as well, and the different locations of the desert. So that brings us to the end of the part 1 of this chapter. So यहाँ पे हमने discuss किया about what is ecology. Ecology में हम क्या क्या पढ़ते हैं, different types of levels of organization. We also saw in detail about different biomes. So I hope with the different types of images it was easier for you to understand this topic. And if you did like and if you got some help to understand this topic, then don't hesitate to press the like button, to share it to your friends so that even they could have the support from our channel, to subscribe to Biophilia. Until the next time we meet you with the part 2 of this chapter. Till then, keep studying, keep smiling, work hard till we come back soon and meet you in the next video. Bye bye everyone. Thank you.